Hello, Cheeky Verse. It's New Year's Eve.
Woo!
If you're listening on release day, this is the last time you hear us all year.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
good one.
Thank you.
Good one.
No, I'm not ready.
Here at Cheeky Tales, we've started the tradition of Sean's Medley of Madness that happens every New Year.
Are you trying to give yourself a thing?
He is.
Good.
I'm
No.
on board with it.
No, I'm not giving myself a thing. But we've already recorded that.
Yes.
So this is not the Medley
They
of
don't know
Madness.
that.
No.
Don't break the illusion.
Immersion.
But what about more traditional traditions? Let's explore this on this episode of Cheeky Tales.
Are we going to talk about Hogmanay?
Sean, you know I can just edit it out.
Yeah,
What are
okay.
you covering the mic for?
So you know to edit it out. I don't know.
You can talk about that. I have admitted it from this episode, but
Okay.
you can definitely talk about that. I may give you the floor for that one. Hi, I'm your host this episode, John. With me is Aaron.
Avril.
Avril.
Avril Lavigne.
My co-host Aaron for this episode.
Avril
and
Lavigne, come on. It was right there.
producer Sean.
Producer Sean, definitely do a lot.
Why'd you have to go and make things so difficult?
I do a lot of producing.
I can't
Because
believe.
I'm not actually Avril
Yeah, I know.
Lavigne. Yeah,
I can't believe I won't see you guys.
For the rest of the year.
Oh, I'm not ready for a whole episode of that. For all you avid YouTube fans and people that actually watch our video podcasts, I'm looking at Sam West. That's about it.
Wow.
People that I know that actually go out of their way to watch the video ones, you'll notice that I have some new equipment.
Yeah, you might also be able to hear it if you're using your ears.
Yes. And it's not backwards.
What do you? Okay, never mind.
That's the point. I'm saying that everyone's going to hear that he's got. Doesn't matter.
Everyone will hear the difference that
Yeah.
I have a
I-
new microphone.
Sean can finally stop the whinging.
What about our people who watched the episode with subtitles who can't hear?
I really hope nobody's doing that. The subtitles are not great.
No, the auto captioning subtitles
Yeah.
are absolutely.
Didn't it? It said
Awful.
something about Nazis once.
It said a lot of awful
Yeah.
things. It said the big R word a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
great.
it doesn't pick things up great.
So let's talk about New Year's Eve, or as it may have
10,
used to be called
9,
Old,
8.
Old Year's Day.
Old Year's Day.
I like that.
Did you know New Year's Eve was once called Old
No,
Year's
I
Day?
didn't.
No, I didn't, but I
There you
like
go.
that a lot more.
Lessons.
Can we all agree as a Cheekiverse
I'm happy to call
to
it old.
only call it Old Year's Day?
I'm happy to call it Old Year's Day,
Yeah, cool.
except for the rest of this episode where I've written down New Year's Eve every
Can you
single
just
time.
Control F, find
Nope.
and replace?
Cheeky Tales says yes to Old Year's Day, and to New Year's Eve, we say no, thank you.
So let's have a look at the origin of New Year's Eve.
If you go back to the Big Bang,
No, it goes.
It was a warm night in ancient Greece.
New Year's Eve goes further than that. New
Adam
Year's
came
Eve
out of the.
celebrations go back over 4,000 years to the Babylonians.
Okay, I'm sure that it goes back a few more years than that.
This is the first recorded celebration of a new year. The first new moon following the verbal equinox, which
The
was
what?
verbal.
Okay.
It's okay. I know what that is because I've written it down. It was in. I just remembered.
If you're listening, John looked at me with like a
Yeah,
face,
I did.
and then immediately looked down and went, "Oh, I've written it."
It's the next sentence. It's a day in late March which has an equal amount of sunlight and darkness. So it's
Okay.
not the shortest or longest day. It's
The middle day.
two of them. I'm giving you the forks. It's two
Yeah.
of them. It's the middle day.
Okay. Is this
It's-
an AI script? Did
I
you
don't-
not remember what you wrote?
No. Well, we're not to the AI part yet.
Are we doing
Signal-
AI scripts now?
I'm not.
I'm
but
not.
he might be. He can't
Man,
remember his own
I'm-
script.
I'm going to have so many episodes done.
It was late last night.
It was.
So the verbal equinox signaled the new year for the Babylonians. They marked this occasion with an 11-day festival called Akatu.
That's a great name.
I was going to say March, because obviously it's the whole New Year's Eve thing being on, Old Year's Day being on the same day really only applies if you use the current calendar that we use.
We're getting there, Sean.
Yeah, so the
we are getting
Babylonians,
there.
it would have to be that whenever they decided
Yep.
it was.
Well, they just used the sun
It was
and the moon.
In the moon, yep, correct. Moon cycles, lunar calendar, as you would call it.
Mhm.
And it involved a different ritual on each of those 11 days. As well as the new year, the festival celebrated the mythical victory of the sky god Marduk over the evil sea goddess Tiamat. It also involved promises to the gods.
You just broke my brain.
What?
There's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and his channel name is Tiamat Marduk.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Very cool.
It also involved promises to the gods that they would be better in the new year and to do such things as paying debts or returning borrowed farm equipment.
It sure sounds like resolutions.
There you go. He's onto it. This festival also had a political purpose.
Did they also give up on them by mid-January?
Probably. During this time, no, January didn't exist. During this time, a new king, they would have given up mid-April. During this time, a new king would be crowned or the current ruler's authority renewed.
Okay. Lucky for them.
So as you just picked up, that is the origin of
Resolutions.
New Year's resolution. Well, that's what's believed is to inspire New Year's resolutions. While most cultures around the world link the new year with an agricultural astronomical event, there was one exception. Egypt. Their new year would begin...
The flood?
Correct.
The...
Their
I know
year
Egypt.
would begin anew with the annual flooding of the Nile. This still happens every year with monsoon season. Heavy rain in the Ethiopian highlands area causes the Nile to swell and flood as the water makes its way downstream.
Huh. I always assumed it was like snow somewhere melting.
Just a lot of rain in Ethiopia. January 1st, as Sean mentioned earlier, became the start of the new year in 45 BC, when Julius Caesar, whose claim to fame was inventing the Caesar salad, you'd get one of yours.
I'm so angry I coughed.
Shout out to a real legend.
We're just going to let this one play out for a
Love
second.
your salad, bro.
You know we're all so sore from our cheeky excursion the other day.
I'm not. I got a little bit of soreness in
Yeah,
my
you didn't
arms.
work hard enough then.
Oh,
Because he bowled 10 balls and then went
bowled
and
tables
recorded.
and went sat down.
Yeah.
I batted first, thank you.
Did you want to continue that, Sean? Or are you just going to
No, I'm so mad.
Okay.
Yeah, we all know it's from Caesar's Palace.
He also instated the Julian calendar,
Mm.
which added 61 days to make the year 365 days long from 304 days. Yep. I seen you doing math.
Yeah, 61 days.
March was the first month.
Mm.
That's why September, sept meaning 7, is now 9. It used to be 7.
Right.
October, November, December, meaning 7, 8, 9, 10. But now they're 9, 10, 11, 12.
Ah, I guess I never thought about that.
Mm.
Like I knew Sept was 7, but I'd never thought about the fact that it was month 9.
Mm.
Yeah. I had definitely thought about October being 10. Yeah. Anyway, blow your mind.
So, yeah, this introduced January, named after the Roman god Janus, and February, named after the Roman god February. Yes, it is Janus, is Janus. Child. The year before this implementation, 46
Just
BC.
let that go.
Could have just let that go.
I didn't. The year before this implementation, 46 BC, was known as the year of confusion.
Okay.
I can imagine that would be very confusing if they were just like, hey, the calendar's changing next year.
Or was it because of some other weird thing?
It was because of some other weird thing.
Yes.
It was a 445-day year.
Oh, so it's just longer.
It was 445 days
Yeah.
long, and it was to realign the calendar with the astronomical timing.
How annoying would that be just in the olden days?
Imagine letting everybody know that. It
Yeah.
would take you 445 days to get around to everybody
Yeah.
on the camel to tell everybody that.
Especially because this was in Rome, and Rome was massive.
Yeah, they were pretty good at passing on information though. And also, I guess there's the other aspect though, right? So let's talk this pre-enlightened era, which it is. There would have been let's say the majority of people just didn't care.
Yeah.
They were like,
Well, they couldn't read, so like,
yeah, well, maybe they could, right? Rome, they probably just didn't care. They're like, yeah,
yeah. Like,
Whatever,
I just got to
like-
go out in the field when it's hot anyway.
right now in the age of information, we can, not that we necessarily have to, but we can pretty much care about everything because we have the ability to know about everything. But back then you're just like, I don't care.
yeah. Like,
Old
it
mate-
wouldn't matter.
Old mate making knives like in his blacksmith factory. It's not like he's like, oh, I'm banking up my annual leave. Like he doesn't know. He's
Mm.
not getting ready to do his taxes for the financial year. He's just like, whatever. I'm all right. I'm good.
So happy you got cranky at that because it also happened 1,628 years later as the Julian calendar overestimated the solar year length by 11 minutes. This discrepancy accumulated over the years, and in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII shifted the calendar 11 days. So October 5th became October 14th. So they went from October 4th to October 14th.
Oh, so they just went forward 11.
Wait,
11 days.
they missed by 11 minutes.
So the Julian calendar was 11 minutes longer than the solar timing.
Minutes is in like
Yep.
minutes, not
Yep.
anything.
So over 1,600 years, that equivalent to about 11 days.
So at some point, everyone would have been like, it's midnight and it's 9 in the morning.
Correct.
That is more infuriating
Well,
than
no,
making-
because time would be different to dates.
Yeah, the time was still probably worked off a solar,
They
yes,
still didn't
yeah.
have clocks at that point.
a sundial. But
I'd
the
be-
calendar
Yeah,
was, shifted.
that's interesting and kind of confusing, but also interesting.
But it's not that long ago, really, when you think about it either.
But it's odd to get minutes representing like an overlapping days is very odd. It's like, at what point do they notice? Like you were talking about sun up, sun down. Obviously, the lunar calendar is based off, like the lunar calendar was conceptualized around the solar calendar as well. Like the lunar new year was balanced by the sun.
Well, it's probably the equinoxes that they noticed.
Yeah, I know, but like, how did they like get 11 minutes which then turned into 11 days? Is interesting because how did they eventually they would have like gained it or lost a day? It's like, but how when the day starts and ends and the
Oh,
sun?
I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah.
the sun is not. It's not really relative at this
Well,
point.
because like we do it now with the leap day. Like you don't notice the days changing.
Yeah,
Like if
because
there
it's
wasn't a leap day, and remember that this is over like 1,600 years,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
up-
wouldn't notice it in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You would notice it over generations.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like the day thing. Oh no, we're getting into weird nerd. Just cut this bit. We're getting into like weird nerd. Shit.
No,
Now we're
no,
getting
no.
down in the weeds.
I
of,
think
like,
you're right, Sean, but you got to remember, I think we're pretty lucky where we are in Australia, where sun goes up early in the morning,
sun goes up, sun
goes
down.
down late in the afternoon.
Yes, that's true.
In Rome, in the different areas, their normal day and night cycle, it might be up at 2 in the morning and down at 3 in the afternoon.
I think I know what you're saying. I'm pretty sure in the Mediterranean though they're fairly similar because they're quite equatorial. They're pretty close. Well, they're fairly close to the equator.
Because the other thing to remember is that they're not losing a day. It's just that their calendar
shifted.
slowly moves away from
Yeah.
like where it should be.
Yeah.
So you just wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And then one day you'd be like, hang on, isn't the equinox meant to be today? And
Yeah.
it's actually in 10 days' time. And everyone's like, oh yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, Pope Gregory shifted the calendar. October 5th became October 14th. And this was the introduction of the Gregorian calendar, which is what we use today. It also accounts for the 11 minutes, as well as it introduced the concept of leap years, that Aaron mentioned earlier. So
February the freak month.
that's kind of the how we get to January 1st being the start of the year, the resolutions. What about some of the other traditions? What are some? You name one, and I'll cover it.
Can I start by, because I found all the different names for New Year's Eve in different countries, and there's a few.
Okay. And sorry, what? For what?
New Year's Eve, different names.
Sorry,
for
Old
what?
Year's Day.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Oh, gee.
Also
All right, there's a
called-
bit.
So obviously we have Hogmanay in Scotland.
Mhm.
Hogmead.
Hogmanay, which we'll probably talk about later. Callanig in Wales, although it's probably not said Callanig because it's Welsh. It's probably just said, and that's actually what it is. Welsh is a confusing language.
No.
Sorry, Welsh
vowels.
people.
They know.
They know.
Sorry,
Your language is crazy. It's
They
Moonman
lean
language.
into it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There's that town that changed their name to intentionally be the longest town name in the world so they could get more tourism. It's like 56 letters
More
or something.
tourism. I'm not going out of my way to see that.
We got Shendrivakia in Ukrainian. In Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, it's known as Ambang. In Uzbekistan, Turkey, and Azerbaijan, it's known as Yangi Yil or Yabasi. I can't pronounce that one. A lot of African words, it's called Karamu. In Austria, Bosnia, Herzegovina, like that's a hard one. I always get that wrong.
Herzegovina?
Karamu is my favorite type
Herzegovina,
of Sunday.
Croatia, Czech Republic, France, Germany, Hungary, Israel, Italy, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Poland, Russia, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Switzerland. It's known as Sylvester.
Stallone?
In a bunch French-speaking countries calls it Réveillon.
Nice.
Other
French
French-speaking
just sounds fun. French and Italian, peak language.
Russians call it Kanon Novogo Goda.
Too long.
Japan call it omasoka or something of that word.
Japan's
I am not
another
going
peak
to
language.
attempt. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce Botswana Old Year's Day.
Botswanian?
It's kind of hard. I believe they speak Swahili in Botswana. I'm not 100% certain, but however, it's several words and I'm going to get them all wrong.
All right, well.
All right. So when you think of New Year's Eve tradition, you name one and I'll cover it because
Fireworks.
that happens to be the first one I got here. Fireworks were invented in China, approximately 200 BC. The primitive fireworks were just bamboo stalks stuffed with gunpowder. They were used in the Chinese New Year's celebrations because they believed the bright lights and the loud noises scared off evil spirits and bad luck. By the 9th century, Chinese alchemists learned how to create colourful sparks, which is the foundation for modern fireworks that we know today.
Can you
Very
imagine, like, you're just some villager in China, like you've been out plowing your field all day, and then you see.
I've got all this gunpowder. Where am I going to store it? Oh, here's a hollow bamboo stalk.
Well, like, no, just imagine seeing the first firework. How scary that would be.
I could imagine they were storing gunpowder in bamboo stalks anyway, and then someone accidentally lit one on fire, and it's just like,
Hang on a minute.
hang on, that's cool. Yeah. That's pretty much how it happened.
I love how much stuff just comes from China. Like,
You mean nowadays?
no, like inventions that we just kind of take for granted now. A lot of them are from China.
Ancient China worked out.
He's working out if it's made in China.
No, he's trying to.
Designed in Texas, made in China.
There you go. I mean, they worked out how to vaccinate against smallpox thousands of years before anyone in the West worked it out.
Mm.
Not like, oh, it's a few decades. Like something like, it was like literally 1,000 years or something. An ancient Chinese doctor was like, I worked out how to vaccinate people via exposure to small amounts of smallpox. And then that gives people the immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Sean, name a New Year's Eve tradition, not Hogsmeade. Not yet.
Not Hogmanay. Okay.
Why don't you give some Menade to everyone else?
I guess the counting down, waiting till midnight.
I didn't do that one, but this one is close enough. The ball dropping in Times Square.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Countdown. Of course, one of the images you see when someone mentions New Year's Eve celebration is Times Square and the giant ball dropping at midnight. This tradition goes all the way back to 1833 in Portsmouth, England, where a ball would be dropped from a pole at 1 p.m. so that sailors at sea could keep their clocks synchronized, or their timekeepers, whatever they had.
So every day?
Every day.
Right.
A second one would be established in Greenwich. Yes, the place of Greenwich Mean Time. And that timekeeping ball is still dropped every day today.
Ah.
At 1 o'clock. Yep. In America.
Local legend. There's a small lighthouse type device in Adelaide, actually, at Semaphore Beach that also did the ball drop thing. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's heritage listed, and they're like, oh, this is what it was for. And
This is not the only
cool.
two places. This was developed.
Yeah, all over the place.
all
It's
over
a
the place,
common system. Yeah, it's crazy.
In America, the first time ball was introduced in the United States Naval Observatory in Washington.
Time ball's just such a great.
Yeah, it's a time ball.
Yeah.
Time's a flat disc.
Yep, it was established in Washington in 1845. But for New Year celebrations, it was first introduced in 1907. Celebrations had been happening in Times Square since 1904, but in 1907, fireworks were banned for safety concerns. So instead,
Makes sense.
yes, instead, newspaper owner Adolf Ork commissioned Ukrainian metalworker Jacob Starr to create a 700-pound or 317 kilo, 5-foot wide iron and wood ball that was illuminated by 100 incandescent light bulbs, and it was lowered manually down a flagpole. This has happened every year since, except for 1942 and 1943, because there was a dim out.
Yeah.
A dim out for the wall. Yep.
You know, it's a real shame about Hitler for a number of reasons. But one is just the loss.
How did we get here?
How do we get here?
The loss of the name Adolf. It's a nice name. It's just a shame.
It is quite tarnished.
It
Yeah.
is a little bit tarnished.
Like nobody's calling their kid Adolf now, but like it's a nice name.
I think it's fair to leave it tarnished.
I'm not saying bring it back. I'm just saying it's a shame.
I think
I'm not saying that's the worst thing. I'm
feel like
just saying it's a sad
I
thing.
feel like we've got something for a good mini episode there. It's like things that were ruined forever by rubbish people.
That sounds like a
That
great
sounds
idea.
like a great mini episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
keep that.
Name a
that.
tradition, boy.
I don't know many. Like,
Sean, if you got one.
Singing. Oh no.
Yes?
Scottish.
Singing what?
wait,
Old Lang
kissing.
Syne.
Here we go. Singing Old Lang Syne. The poem was written by Robert Burns, a celebrated poet in 1788. He claims he
Your
transcribed from the song. He transcribed the song from an old Scottish folk tune that he heard an old man singing one time. Old Lang Syne translates roughly to old long since or for the sake of old times. The theme of the song is looking back on past times and cherishing friendships. Scottish immigrants carried the song all over the world and it became a staple in the US thanks largely to Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians. He first performed it at midnight during New Year's Eve's broadcast in 1929 and it became a signature of his annual performance until the 1970s. I think that's where Hogmanay comes into. So if you want to take it from here.
Hogmanay is an old Scottish tradition of Old Year's Day and is synonymous with the celebration of New Year in Scottish. It is normally followed by a further celebration on the morning of New Year's Day and in some cases on the 2nd of January, which is a Scottish bank holiday. The word Hogmanay is used more loosely to describe the entire period consisting of the last couple of days of the old year and the first few days of the new year. For instance, not all events held under the banner of Edinburgh's Hogmanay take place on the 31st of December. Customs vary throughout Scotland, usually include gift giving, visiting the homes of friends and neighbours with regular attention paid to giving the first foot, which is the first guest of the new year. So now going off information, talking about like people that I know, they always talk about Hogmanay and like how I guess you would call it loose. So basically, New Year's Eve, everyone just like literally leaves their doors open.
Yeah,
They
right.
like leave them open, and then it's like
and
a
it's
whole
a race to be the first one in people's houses.
Yeah, it's like a good luck thing for the first person to be like to step foot through the door, and then they like, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter who you are, like neighbor, you could be like loose friends. Come on in, have a cup of tea, have a beer or whatever. Like they do this whole thing behind it.
Get bevved.
I didn't include that one, but first footing is a thing to be the first person to step into the house brings good luck.
Mhm.
So it's a thing, first footing. I'm going to go into some lesser well-known traditions later. I'm just covering the big ones. But yeah, Hogmanay.
What about the first kiss?
Midnight kiss.
Midnight kiss.
What's better than at the stroke of midnight, a big old smooch?
I'm going to say nothing.
Good. The kiss at midnight, highly popularized by Hollywood romance movies, dates back to ancient Rome.
Of course it does. Surprised it's not China.
It is believed to have its origins in Saturnalia, a pagan festival which involved a lot of singing, dancing, socializing, sharing gifts, and kissing. This superstition was also believed that the first interaction of the new year is to set the tone for the rest of the year. They also kissed a lot in the European, medieval, and Renaissance time. Mask balls were very popular for New Year's celebrations. Removing the mask with a midnight kiss symbolized purification and the promise of new beginnings. Elsewhere in English and German folklore, failing to secure a midnight kiss was thought to bring bad luck and loneliness for the coming year. So
Sad.
that covers the well-known traditions that I had written
Cool.
down. So let's have a look at some of the lesser-known traditions. And it got late last night when I was doing it, so I'm going to come up with some interesting titles. So look for them to get funnier and funnier as we go along. Coloured underwear, boy.
What?
Did you know that there is a tradition of wearing different coloured underwear on New Year's Eve and that it would influence the incoming year?
Okay. No, I didn't.
This
But I'm
is
all on board for this one.
good. This is popular in countries like Italy, Spain, and parts of Latin America.
Nice.
What colour does what, I hear you ask, boy? Red.
What color does what, boy?
Thank you. Red is for attracting love, passion, and romance.
Nice.
Yellow is for bringing wealth, prosperity, and success, as well as happiness,
Yes.
optimism, and positivity. You could change yours midnight.
I got to go change my underwear. Oh, the tradition. Yep.
Yep. White is for peace, purity, and harmony. This one is especially popular in Brazil, where cultural traditions of welcoming in the new year with a clean slate.
Yeah, cool. No streaks.
I think I have seen that one where, like, I think it is Brazil, like at New Year celebrations,
Mm.
a lot of people were just wearing all white.
There's a Brazilian girl at work. I might ask her.
Green is for health, luck, and growth. Blue is to attract tranquility, serenity, and good health. Pink is also for love, but more plutonic, so more towards friendship, kindness, and affection. And black underwear, for power, sophistication, and even seduction. So what colour are you wearing this New Year's Eve, boy?
Brown.
The word seduction is kind of gross.
Yeah.
because it sounds too much like suction, and that's a gross word.
I'm going with white
You're going to go with
for
what?
purity.
Nice.
That's me.
Cool. Okay. 12 grapes at midnight.
What?
A popular tradition in Spain is eating 12 grapes
I
at
thought
midnight.
that
I
was
have
gonna be
heard
Rome.
this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that much about it, but yeah.
It's one grape for each stroke of the
What?
clock at midnight.
Okay. Do you have to eat them on the strokes?
Yes, these
Oh,
grapes
jeez.
represent the 12 months, and you must eat all of them to enjoy a lucky year. Otherwise, the upcoming year might be cruel to you.
Rude.
So, yes, you have to eat.
Is
in
it a
that 12
particular kind of grape?
No.
Okay.
So, I guess you can.
Because the
Seedless.
seeded one would be quite
Mm.
annoying.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Cakes.
Okay.
In Greece, Mexico, and the Netherlands, do they all share a border?
Greece.
Did you
I'm
say
Greece
Greece, Mexico, and the Netherlands?
I'm throwing it back to last week. We used to had a hissy fit over
We
the
did.
border. Did you end up sorting that one out?
I mean, more or less.
We
like,
haven't spoken about it, but
Alright.
I
I
know
don't-
I'm right.
we kind of, I kind of started shouting. I kind of started shouting without giving enough context as to what I was shouting about, and then by that point, we'd already moved past it too much.
Yeah, so Greece, Mexico, and the Netherlands,
They do share a border, of
as
course.
well as some other countries.
Yeah, Mexico and Greece, that huge land border.
Yep, sea border, baby.
Round cakes,
Hmm.
specifically round cakes, symbolize the circle of life. Some would put some trinkets,
Circle of life.
or coins inside the cake.
Oh, good. So you can break your teeth.
Then, if you were lucky to get it, you're expected to have good luck in the incoming year.
Lucky for the dentist.
My grandparents actually did like trinkets in fruitcake for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas
and then
pudding.
If you got
yeah.
that, you got a prize or whatever.
Oh, you didn't say that.
My mum, pud. Yeah, my mother had a.
Fruitcake, not pud.
He
My-
said pud.
Yeah, it's pud.
My mum did have a little packet of old sixpence coins that she would
Well,
put
it
in
was-
the.
We had coins and as well as like tiny little porcelain dolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And they were the
Damn.
same ones used every year.
Yeah. I reckon if I message mum right now, she probably still has her little bag of sixpence coins
Mm.
that she used to put in the Christmas pud because it was considered.
Why
good
are
luck.
you yawning?
I know.
It's-
It's like 8:30 in the morning.
My God, I thought we were going to get through one without a yawn. No.
I haven't even yawned yet.
Jeez, boy.
Also, shout out
much-
on wearing my new Future Magic Brewing t-shirt.
Too much prop hunt.
Future Magic Brewing Co. Love your stuff. Just we weren't going to drink beer this morning. It's too early.
It's way too early.
It's
for
way
beer.
too early for beer. Hence
Only
the
on
shirt.
Super
Over
Bowl
Irish
day.
coffee. Oh,
Yeah, hence the shirt.
Not an alcohol.
Not an alco.
Yep.
Not an alco.
Hashtag.
Pork.
Port the drink.
No, pork.
Oh, pork.
Pigs symbolize progress in countries like Austria, Portugal, and Cuba. So eating pork on New Year's Eve, it's
There's all
common.
these weird countries that have nothing to do with each other having
Yeah, I
the
know.
same
It
traditions.
represents this. Everything represents something.
Something,
How does
yeah.
a pig represent like? And then in the rest of the world, it's like pigs have disease.
Yeah, pigs unclean.
Pigs unclean.
Yeah, so eating pork is common to attract prosperity for the next 365 days.
Yeah, some of this shit, it's like someone thought of this one day and went, yeah, that's a thing.
More
Someone had a
eating
bit too
stuff.
much ale.
Legumes.
Legumes?
Legumes. Legumes, like,
Super good for you.
they look like old Roman coins and symbolize financial prosperity. That's what it says. Don't shoot me, I'm the messenger.
I think that's true.
This
Man,
is
that's-
why Italians have lentils and Americans add black-eyed peas to their dishes on New Year's Eve.
They add Will I Am to their dishes?
Yeah.
That's a thin one. All right. All
I'm
right.
just the
We're
messenger.
getting abstract now.
Keeping doors and windows open.
Yep.
This is okay
Let
for
the spirits out.
Yeah, this is okay for us in the southern hemisphere in summertime,
Yes.
but probably not good for the northern half because they're in winter. However, in the Philippines, doing this at midnight helps you get rid of the negative energy from last year and attract good energy for the upcoming year.
Right.
Hanging onions on your door.
Oh, I can get behind this one.
This also sounds like another bad idea, like leaving
Yeah.
your windows and doors open in winter. It might not look or smell great during New Year's Eve. However, in Greece, this practice means growth and rebirth. Parents would ask their children to put the onions on their heads to draw good luck for the year to come.
On their heads.
Yep.
You said doors to begin with.
Well, it's also hanging on your doors and then also
I think
the children
I think
on
that
their head.
tradition we should do. Onion heads.
Nah, I want to do the next one that I've got. Just burning at the Viking longship.
Nice.
I didn't include that one, but
Yeah,
there was
well-
a burning of effigies and scarecrows one type of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of burning.
It's a
Nordic
lot of like, oh, get rid of the spirits, I'm sure.
traditional Viking countries and also just areas where there are lots of Vikings. They actually still do one in Edinburgh as part of Hogmanay, is they build a longship and then burn it. Because obviously carrying around balls of flaming fire is pretty common in quite a few different old Year's Day celebrations. And part of that is burning shit. And so like the Shetland Islands and some of the other like small, loose, like extra Viking areas, yeah, they still burn a longship as part of Old Year's Day, New Year's Eve celebrations, which is
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
wasteful.
Well, the idea is they burn it for that purpose.
Yeah.
They build it for that purpose. They're
Yeah.
not just like, oh, we got this old ship.
Old wooden ship.
Oh, they're going to burn it. No, they like progressively build it.
So maybe when they're burning the ship, they can do this next one, which is throwing water out the window.
Okay.
Another practice believed to ward off evil spirits is throwing water out the window. This is especially popular in Latin America. The tradition also symbolizes renewal, making it a good way to say goodbye to the old year and start the new one.
Bye.
Polka dots.
Nice.
Another one from the Philippines is wearing polka dotted clothing and surrounding themselves with round items like coins and fruit. It is believed to attract wealth and prosperity.
Okay. I can see myself wearing a polka dot shirt with onions on my head,
Yep.
burning something.
Throwing water out the window.
Yeah.
This is where I got a little bit silly. Smashing plates. If you find yourself partying in the new year,
Yep.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan loved that.
if you find yourself, picture yourself partying in the new year in Denmark, you might wake up to some smashed plates at your door. Smashing plates against the door of friends and family is said to bring good fortune. Thanks, I guess. You
Yeah.
just wake up to like,
Pick that up.
you walk out for your morning breath of fresh air, glass in your foot.
Yeah. Glass plates, huh?
Mm.
Must be nice.
Porcelain plates, china plates, whatever. Jumping off chairs.
Yep.
Also from Denmark, jumping off a chair at the stroke of midnight is meant to leave behind bad spirits. I just hope the people jumping off the chair haven't had too many spirits to drink, because I could see a very busy emergency room in
Yep.
Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to the ground.
Happy birthday to the ground.
I knew you like that one.
I threw the rest of the cake too.
In Switzerland, people drop a dollop of ice cream on the ground to symbolize abundance and ensure a year of plenty.
Yep, sure.
So just
One
Big
for
old-
you, one for me.
big old drop of ice cream on the ground. Meat whisperers. How about
Not a few of them, but
how,
cutting that out. I'm cutting that out.
how about in Belgium, farmers will wish their cows a happy new year, believing it will foster good fortune and healthy livestock.
I mean, like people do that with their pets. So
I think this is just one we can all adopt and just with our local cows go out and say Happy New Year's. They deserve it.
yeah.
There was also that one time everyone thought the world was going to end because the clocks couldn't count from 1999 to 2000. That kind of just fizzled out, didn't it? That
Yeah.
never really happened.
Old
Y2K.
Y2K, which has now become like synonymous with like an era and a style as well, which is really interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Like when people talk about like fashion of the early 2000s, late 90s, it's sometimes referred to like culturally that period is sometimes referred to as
Y2K.
Y2K, which is quite interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is amazing to me how much money got spent. And like people say like, oh, nothing happened. It's like, yeah, because people spent years preparing for it.
Yeah.
I recently, someone told me a local story for our local prison. A lot of money went out and a lot of money was spent to getting a bunch of generators
Mm.
put into the prison ground in case the power went out.
Why would people think that the generators would still work?
Because they were just like petrol.
Because they
fuel
don't,
right.
generators.
they're not,
Mm.
yeah.
But like people talk about Y2K as if it was like, oh, we got duped into spending all this money. It's like, no,
Yeah,
they did the
they did
work
the-
and anything that was going to happen didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, Y2K just happened, 24 years later when we had the crowd strike.
Man, that didn't affect me at all.
It didn't really affect me.
There was a
either.
couple shops closed and
No.
that didn't bother me.
It didn't affect me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Optus outages are more
Yeah.
influential than Y2K.
haven't gone into Y2K in case we want to do it for a future episode, but that was, I don't know if you want to call that one tradition, 1 year we had.
Yeah, it was a scare, all right. I do remember that New Year's in particular.
I
Mm.
wasn't concerned because I was sitting on the beach at North Stradbroke Island just having a good time watching
I
fireworks.
was watching the Disney Channel countdown, and my parents let me stay up because I was 8. They let me just stay up to watch it, and then went, all right, go to bed.
Yeah. I have vague memories of it. I think my parents were at a party and I was there.
What I remember is actually like the TV ads for like the programs. Buy
Mm.
this and your computer won't shit itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure there are many more weird and wonderful traditions around the world to usher in the new year and say goodbye to Old Year's Day.
Can we talk about Finland?
And yeah, sure. Change of foot. Yep, cool. Yep. Okay.
Late supper is often served, often featuring wieners and serving of Jansen's
Didn't
Festels,
have
which is
to
also
say
known as
wiener.
Jansen's. I did. Jansen's Temptation, which is a potato and fish dish, which
Ooh,
just
yum.
sounds absolutely fantastic. Some municipalities organize fireworks. Consumer fireworks are also very popular. A Finnish tradition is called, oh man, come on, Molly Badomansi, which is where they melt tin, which is actually lead because they don't have tin,
That's also Germany. They melt lead to predict the future.
predict the future, and then
So
chuck it in cold water
Yeah,
and
so-
then read it.
So like tea leaves. They melt it, put it in cold water and watch it solidify. And then, like
All
tea
right,
leaves.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or interpreting shadows cast by candlelight.
Huh.
The predictions are, however, it doesn't say sometimes, it says never taken seriously.
Yeah.
Well,
which
then
I
why
like.
do it?
I don't know.
I think Finland, with the dishes one, there was another one. I think Finland was one of the countries where they have like, you eat 7, 9, or like 13 meals. Like you eat a lot of meals.
Crazy
for
amounts of
New Year's
food,
Eve.
yeah.
Just end up spewing.
Yeah.
Start the new year sick.
I love
Actually.
this sort of stuff, right? Like, I mean,
I knew you would. That's why I was
Yeah,
writing. I'm like,
it's
I'm writing
great.
this episode for Sean.
like every year for Christmas, I make a big fuss about trying to do something else. And it's partly because I spend Christmas mostly with friends rather than my family. I do have family that I spend Christmas with, but it's not a big thing. I have my mum and dad, and that's it. So for me, I spend Christmas with my friends, which means I want to do things differently because they then have to then spend Christmas with their families eating ham and prawns 1,500 times combined between them, right? So I like to do different stuff. KFC Christmas was a big hit, mind you. That was quite excellent.
Korean fried chicken.
Korean, Japanese, it wasn't Korean fried chicken.
Well, then why'd you call it KFC?
Because in Japan, they eat KFC at Christmas time because Christmas time is more like Valentine's Day. I love all this stuff. So the idea of all these different New Year celebrations, other than just being real sweaty and drinking beer, well, that's what we do over here because it's hot.
Yeah, it is very hot.
It was Estonia that does this 7, 9, or 12 meals.
Oh,
We've also got Watching Dinner for One in Germany. I wonder if that's on like free to air every New Year's Eve.
I probably is.
Yeah.
It's a British comedy sketch, Dinner for One.
Yep.
What else we got?
They often, it's not a really tradition. They often play the Edinburgh military tattoo on SBS on New Year's Eve in Australia.
There's also,
Man, SBS.
as well as dropping the ball at New Year's Eve, there's other places that do weird things like the Giant Pickle in Mount Olive,
Oh,
a potato in Boyce in Indiana, or a possum.
Boise.
Yeah, a possum replica at Tallapalooza.
ooh.
You know what I miss? I miss the like lead up to the reveal of what symbol they were going to have in the middle of the Story Bridge at New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that was such a big deal. Like Sydney in 2000, they were like, it's a dove. And then I think it was a dove again a few years later, and they were like, let's not bother with this anymore.
Yeah, I only ever remember the times where they did a coat hanger because the nickname for the bridge is
Well, like-
a coat hanger.
It's a nice little thing, and they just stopped doing it. They're just like, fireworks, go home.
I'm not a giant. I don't often watch the Sydney fireworks. I like fireworks,
Hmm.
but the idea of watching fireworks on TV doesn't interest me very much.
Oh, I don't watch it now,
Yeah.
but like it was just one of those things that was like, this is like the moment where the new year starts and we get to see what this like organizational group has decided is like the
The,
thing.
the theme
It's
for
just
the
like,
next year.
it's
yeah.
just a nice little thing of like, what's it going to be? Oh, it's, whatever.
Here's a good one I just found. Christmas was forbidden in Soviet Russia, so New Year's became the gift-giving occasion for the year.
Ah.
Presents were delivered not by Santa, but by Ded Morozo,
What?
Morzos, or Father Frost, often aided by his granddaughter, Snegogorchika. Anyone ready for another round of gift giving? Actually, speaking of that, we just finished watching Red One with the kids.
Mm.
It's actually a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, my dad watched that the other night when he was babysitting my daughter.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie.
That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, that's why I went.
He seems like a hot frosty guy. Got him.
Shut the fuck up about Hot
Sean's
Frosty.
favorite Christmas movie.
Bang on the walls with bread. While other countries have food-related traditions, Ireland's most interesting tradition doesn't involve eating. Instead, the Irish bang Christmas bread on the walls of their home. It's supposed to chase out bad spirits. Okay.
Get rid of these spirits, baby.
How about we make up our own tradition to get rid of bad spirits?
Oh, this is a good one too. In Colombia, they walk around New Year's Eve with empty suitcases, hoping it was going to bring wealth and stuff like. Yeah, they just walk around the street with an empty suitcase.
How inconvenient. Anyway, good app, boy.
Good app.
Thanks. So what's our timestamp at, boy? Oh, they're going to hear it at the end anyway. But start this episode roughly at 11:15 New Year's Eve night, and right now should be Happy New Year's. So Happy New Year's, everyone. We will see you.
I hope this is not the last thing you're doing with the year.
If you're listening to this episode on New Year's Eve, right, just as the clock strikes midnight, congratulations. You are officially our biggest fan, whoever
Well,
does this.
I say that because I've seen it in the last couple of years. It's becoming a tradition to start this movie at this point, and this thing in the movie will happen at midnight. So it's like start Avengers Endgame at like whatever, and then when the click happens at the end is the stroke of midnight. So I've seen that tradition starting, different things like big crescendo moments in movies happening at the stroke of midnight type of thing.
I
So-
do like that as an idea. Don't listen to our podcast.
I'll tell you what.
Last thing
I'll tell you
do for
what.
the year.
I'll tell you what, cheeky listeners,
Go out and
Chiquitos.
scare some
If
spirits
you can
away.
show me photographic video evidence of you listening to this at the point that John says Happy New Year, which we'll give him a countdown for now, if you somehow timestamp that and can show me video evidence that says, I will make you a t-shirt. I will make the first person that can send it in. I will
There
make
you
you
go.
personally a t-shirt that says Cheeky Tail's biggest damn fan.
The problem is they're going to
They're going to hear that.
the
at the-
timestamps at the end.
after the-
Yeah.
so anyone
5,
listening to this podcast,
4,
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'll give
3,
John a countdown now.
2, 1. Happy New
Happy New Year,
Happy
Chiquitos.
December.
Happy
Goodbye,
Day.
Old Year's Day. Happy New Year.
This podcast will come with instructions on how to achieve that in the linear notes, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, how
Yeah.
can you achieve
In
this?
the description.
In the
bits
description.
that nobody reads
Yep.
is going to have all this.
Start this episode at blurt
Yeah,
out
well, if
time.
you're an avid listener, you listen to it on the day that it came out,
You
which
need-
is New
you
Year's
So you
Eve.
got to listen to it
And then
twice.
you listen to
Boy,
it twice.
You'd need to time mark what we just did.
I got to do it in the edit.
All right.
Do it in the edit.
Why would I do it now?
So you know when to look for it?
Know when to look for it. Like I said, that's a Cheeky Tails guarantee.
There you
I
go.
will
Wow.
make you a t-shirt.
Guarantee.
First person, that's it. Only one. I will make you a Cheeky Tails biggest damn fan t-shirt.
The-
I've got to get this shit.
The gauntlet has been thrown, and we're starting our own tradition. Next New Year's Eve, we
Yep.
could be doing it again.
Doing it again. And
There
then
you
once
go.
again, the first person that sends in a video proving that they did it will get a Cheeky
You
Tails.
just lined us up to have to do a New Year's Eve episode every year.
You wanted to do a tradition? We're starting
I
one.
mean, we can't do
I
a
like
New Year's episode every year because we can't guarantee on the calendar
That's
that
right.
will come out.
We'll just do the episode before New Year's.
All right. I'm going to start making some t-shirt designs for the next 15 years then.
That's
Well,
the episode. Thanks for listening or watching. You can find us on our socials at Cheeky Tales Pod, Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Nope. I'm not doing X
I'm
anymore.
not doing X anymore.
Not doing X anymore. It's on Threads instead. Or you can find us at
Nope.
YouTube. If you're already watching, if you're listening, you can find us at YouTube.
At Cheeky Tales Pod.
Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find us on the podcast platform of your choice at Cheeky Tales Pod. So thanks for listening. I hope you have had a wonderful year, and next year is going to be a good year for you. Let's all get
Big
into
year.
big year. It's a quarter of the century, 2025.
You won't hear us until next year.
You won't hear us until next year.
Unless you're listening in January.
Yeah.
In which case,
And then please
Too late.
listen to us this year.
Good morning, Chiquitos.
Yes. Good night.
keeping up Sean's trend of forgetting my sign.
I really threw him with the good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.